Mehdi Mahmoodian, welcome to our program from Tehran. I can't tell you how pleased we are to have you. Can you just tell me how it is for you, what it is like, the bombing, how do you feel about it?
What happened in the streets of Tehran and after the war in Tehran brought out two different feelings in us. One was a sense of joy that those who had played a role in suppressing the people, those who had killed thousands of people in the streets or had ordered massacres, were killed and were no longer there to continue the repression. On the other hand, we were sad that our country had been invaded and the countries had attacked our country based on their own interests. And these feelings can be easily seen on the faces of the people, both joy at the death of the dictator and sadness that the war had begun and that it would probably bring decades of suffering to Iran.
You've been imprisoned by this regime, and you've spoken about the cruelty of Khamenei, who you call the dictator, and you have written with others a letter against him about the crackdown. Are you glad that he is dead? And do you want and believe that the American military, the Israeli military, can liberate your country?
I'm not happy about anyone's death. I'm happy that tyranny has been destroyed, but I'm not happy about the death of any human being. But I wish there was an opportunity for these tyrants to be tried in court and held accountable for the crimes they committed against the Iranian people. What makes me happy is the destruction of tyranny, not the tyrant. America has proven in recent years and in the past few decades that it acts more based on their own interests than for democracy and freedom. As in Iraq in 1990 and during the first Persian Gulf War, they left Saddam alone with his own people. And during the 13 years that Saddam was in power, he killed several 100,000 people and displaced several million people from his own country. And in Afghanistan, after 20 years of war and the killing of tens of thousands of people in the war, America abandoned Afghanistan and left it at the disposal of the Taliban. And the people are living with the Taliban again. My concern about this is that America will bring this calamity upon the Iranian people again, and we will enter into greater darkness from now on. In addition, in all recent cases, war has never been able to bring democracy. And if a new tyranny is to replace this tyranny, all these civil and democratic struggles of the people over the past 100 years will practically disappear and be wasted.
Do you think, Mehdi Mahmoodian, that there is a possibility to change your regime, and how do you think it should happen? Who should be leading the change?
In these struggles of the last 20 years, I was in prison for at least 9 years. And I hoped that I and all my friends and comrades in Iran who were fighting to confront tyranny and replace it with a democratic system, we hoped that we could establish the system with the help of civil society and the Iranian people. Today, I also hope that America and its allies will allow the fate of Iran to be determined by the Iranian people themselves, and allow us to determine our own fate by stopping the war of attrition.
But as you know, you tried to do that, and your uprising was brutally crushed.
Yes, many struggles are often suppressed, but governments cannot continue to suppress forever, especially governments that attach inefficiency and incompetence to their work. It is clear that they suppress. It is clear that they commit crimes. But if we were to think that a government is going to last forever, we should think that, for example, the Pharaoh's government lasted for thousands of years. All authoritarian governments will come to an end. But what is important is what government will replace this government at the end. If the revolution takes place militarily, as America wants to do, there is no guarantee that democracy will prevail. Freedom will prevail. But with a democratic transition, with a strong society, we can be sure that after passing from an authoritarian system to a democratic system, we will reach a successful transition, and a bright horizon will occur. But war is far less likely to bring us that bright horizon.
Can you tell me what the atmosphere is in Tehran right now?
مردم تقریبا در خونه هستند. بسیاری از حوادثی که اتفاق میفته.
Almost all the people are in their homes. Many of the incidents that are happening and the buildings that are exploding, I am very happy that the institutions of oppression are being destroyed. Just as they have humiliated the people in these years, they themselves are being humiliated and killed. And the people do not think much about their future. Of course, they are happy right now, because they can see the humiliation of the Islamic Republic, the humiliation of those who have humiliated them. With all those slogans and bragging without support in the streets, they brought the country to this point. These days, 50 or 100 people walk in the streets, chanting slogans in the style of 1400 years ago, and they are causing more fear among the people so that the people do not come out.
Mehdi Mahmoodian, are you worried that just by talking to us in this way, you might get rearrested and put into jail when the authorities can do that?
نگران نیستم چون که حتما این کارو میکنن. کما اینکه بارها این کارو کردم من تا به الان.
I am not worried because they will definitely do this. I have been arrested 9 times at my workplace and at my home, and the Islamic Republic will probably do this again. I've been arrested 7 times since 2008. I was arrested in a prison in the city center when I was 20 in the year 2000, which has now become a museum. I was even executed by hanging. They put a 4-legged stool under my feet and threw a noose and hit me under the 4-legged stool. And because the noose was loose, I fell to the ground. Since then, I have been arrested 9 times, either at home or at my workplace. And I've also been to prison and to court several times and introduced myself. In any case, they do this. But speaking out, I think that what I'm getting is useful for my people and for my homeland. And if the cost is that I go to prison, it is okay. Many young people, thousands of people in Iran, have been killed in recent months and years, all of whom were dearer and more noble than me.
You are also co-writer, along with the director Jafar Panahi, of a film called It Was Just an Accident, which has been nominated for an Oscar. Now, this is a story of former prisoners who kidnapped a man who they found on the outside, who they believe they recognized as one of their prison torturers. What do you want to say about those who were tortured and those who are the abusers and the torturers?
We tried to say in this film that the cycle of violence must stop somewhere. Somewhere we must stop this cycle of violence, as people who have paid the price and suffered harm. If we, like those interrogators, inflict violence like that structure of the Islamic Republic, it won't make much difference to them. The injured person will be replaced with the victim, and the victim will be replaced with the torturer. What we had to convey with this message was, first, to say that we want to stop this cycle of violence, and second, that we basically recognize the torturer, the one who inflicts harm by force, and he should be tried as the perpetrator. But what needs to be stopped is the structure in which someone gives himself the right to torture.
Just finally, are you optimistic about the future when you talk about change and all the democracy and freedom that you and your fellow activists have been working for in and outside of prison? Do you think change can come from within, or do you think an outside opposition leader or figure has to come in and be a transition? You know, the name of Reza Pahlavi is being raised quite a lot. What do you think is the modality of change for you?
ببینید ما الان یکی از موانعی که در
Currently, one of the obstacles to democracy in Iran is that political activists inside the country have been discredited by the Islamic Republic and some of Mr. Pahlavi's supporters. And Mr. Pahlavi himself has not been able to form a coherent force inside the country that could seize power or act for power in times of crisis. But we, the Democrats and Republicans inside the country, have made many efforts in this regard, both those in prison and those outside, including the Group of 17 and the Republican Solidarity Council, have tried to talk and negotiate with the officials of the Islamic Republic and foreign officials so that we can provide a less costly transition from the current situation and find a solution to save Iran from the current situation.
Are you optimistic about the future now or not?
نمیخوام حرف از ناامیدی بزنم. امیدوارم اما
I don't talk about despair. I am hopeful. But the experience we have from the U.S. attacks in recent decades and the aggressions that the U.S. has committed against various countries in the Middle East does not give a clear outlook. But I assure you that we will all do our best as part of the Iranian people, part of Iranian civil society, part of political activists inside the country, together with the friends we have abroad.
Mehdi Mahmoodian, thank you so much for talking to us so frankly from a nation under war and calling for change as you are doing. Thank you very much.
متشکرم.